What's good, guys? Welcome to another episode of No Capes Required. Doug's back. I'm back, and are you doing the running, man?
Yeah.
Well, not running? Okay, that's new.
I'm running while sitting in place.
Oh, thanks.
Think about it.
Might be a new trend. But besides doing dances, we are here to talk about the latest superhero news. And there's been a lot of Batman news lately, and it's Doug's favorite superhero, so I'm sure he can't wait to get into it. But you'll see why he's reacting like this.
You gonna see, all right.
Yeah. So some major casting news came out this week. We had been talking about, even I think a few episodes ago, about maybe our selections for the next Batman. And there was some big news this week that it seems likely that DC has found its next Batman. And who is it? Robert Pattinson. Yes, from the Twilight series. So it was definitely a surprise. Now, it hasn't been officially confirmed that it's going to be him, because even though Variety had reported that, Deadline reported not too long ago, not too long after the news broke, that he's on a short list along with Nicholas Hoult from the X-Men movies, who plays Beast. And so it seems like these are most likely the front runners, but it seems like Robert Pattinson is most likely going to be. He's a leader right now in the house, and it seems like he's likely to be the next Batman. So Doug, been waiting to ask you this. Batman's your guy?
Sky.
Take it away.
Sky. Okay. Yeah. I'm calling it here first. DC has their casting choices is worse than the Wizards front office.
Wow.
It's worse. I don't really know where to go from here, for real, man. If it was not for Wonder Woman, if it was not for this fantastic film, okay, I would have been gone. I'm on a very, very, very fine tightrope right now, because they chose Chip Skylark, guy. They chose Chip Skylark. And I'm saying he's Chip Skylark because literally I cannot think of a more perfect person.
Can he sing?
He can probably sing. He can probably sing. If Fairly Odd Parents had a live action adaptation, he would be my first choice. And they picked him to be Batman.
Well, yeah, tell us how you feel about it.
I feel really bad. This is no bueno. This is not how you come back after delivering, I don't know how many movies it's been since Wonder Woman, because I stopped keeping track. But this is not the way to gain your fans back. I might be done with DC, Scott.
Wow.
I think I might be. The movies. Comic books are amazing still. Okay. TV shows good. They just suck at making movies. I'm just gonna say. Do you feel good about this?
For me,
yeah.
I have to reserve judgment.
Okay.
Just because. So I'm just speaking in my terms. I'm not too familiar with. Well, I'm familiar, but I just haven't seen his movies. Haven't seen too much of the movies that Robert Pattinson has been in.
Okay.
I didn't see any of the Twilight movies. The only movie I've seen with him in it was like the fourth Harry Potter movie, which he was cool in that.
That was cool. I like that. That was good.
Yeah, but the thing is, that was a long time ago. And so I don't feel like I'm the right person to say whether he is a good choice or a bad choice. I've talked to a lot of my friends and my brother who said that he was really good in this movie called The Good Time, which is an indie flick. I haven't seen it, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure they have some reasoning for saying that. But for me, I think that he can actually pull off Bruce Wayne. He has sort of that. Okay. It seems like he has the GQ look. He's got that suave personality. He can go with that. But so it's not about Bruce Wayne where I have a question mark with him.
Right.
It's about Batman.
It's about the big dog.
Yeah, I mean, can he have that edgy personality? Because as we saw really with like Christian Bale's Batman, we saw him like really kind of flip from that pretty boy swagger to really edgy and gritty, like on a dime.
Yeah.
So
it was good too.
Yeah. So can he do that, or is he going to do something out of more that's not with people's idea of Batman, which could make fans angry? I don't know. I will say, and I will give DC some credit for this, they have had a couple, and I'm emphasizing on a couple of casting choices where it didn't look like it was initially going to be a good choice, but it turned out great. I'm talking about, first off, like the poster behind Doug, Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. I did not think that she was going to be a great Wonder Woman, or even a good Wonder Woman, and she was amazing in that role. And I can't wait for Wonder Woman 2, by the way. And even though I said that I have my problems with the movie Shazam, I still really like Zachary Levi in his role. And I was initially didn't think that he would do a good job, but he did. So DC has, they have hit their stride in a couple of these acting categories. Now, there have been others, Lex Luthor, where they haven't really hit the ball right. Ultimately, I can't be too hard on them just yet. But I will say it's a surprising choice, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, and definitely if and when this movie comes out and he somehow gets the role for Batman and it's good, I'll admit when I'm wrong, but right now I'm not.
So some more news about this Batman movie has broken. It actually, the news just keeps coming out all this week. Okay. But it actually has revealed and confirmed that there are 2 villains for the upcoming movie. Mm-hmm. And who are they, you ask?
Yes.
Penguin and Catwoman.
Okay, we've seen them before.
Yeah, they were both in Batman Returns. I don't know if they're trying to go for that sort of vibe, but what's most interesting is that they've said that this isn't going to be, and Matt Reeves has hinted that this is going to be a rogues gallery in terms of villains. So it's likely that these 2 won't be the only ones in it. It could be as many as 6. There's even some reports that Riddler could be among this group. We don't know now that it used to be like that Deathstroke was going to be the main villain, but we don't even know if he's going to still be in the movie. Like, even the actor who portrayed him, can't even say, so.
6 villains is a lot, Sky.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying it could be. It's not confirmed whether or not this is true, but.
I can't even see them. The only way I can see them even fitting 6 villains in the movie is that some of them, or a lot of them, are cameos. They don't really have too much background information, not too much backstory. That's the only way I can see them fitting that in, because if you tried to introduce all those villains and you try to give them all a sort of like a backstory, that would take too much time. It would literally clog the movie up. I don't think they have any room for that type of error.
So, and look, this is kind of unfair. I can't really say whether this is going to be bad or not, but fitting in multiple villains in a solo movie can be, and I'm saying can be, tough to do.
History.
Like the first movie I think about when in terms of that was Spider-Man 3.
Right.
And Spider-Man 3, when I was young, I was really hyped that there were going to be 3 villains. As a kid, I was like, yo, they're not only putting in, okay, we already set up the next Green Goblin with Harry taking over, got in the Sandmans, and then my favorite villain, Venom, is also going to be in the movie. This is going to be awesome.
Right.
And it ended up being the worst Spider-Man movie. So the thing is, even though it sounds exciting on paper to see this many villains in the movie, it can be difficult because you have to fit in all those storylines.
Right.
And sometimes there's no space where Venom, the villain that everybody was looking forward to in that movie, only gets 5 minutes of screen time. 6 villains would be way too many. You should not do that. Do not do that.
I'll do that.
And I mean, these 2, I don't feel like I need Penguin. I mean, Penguin's alright, but I don't feel like I need him. And Deathstroke is better because he can fight. He can really go toe-to-toe with Batman.
I can see him beating
so just because of how great he is at fighting. So I felt like if you had him as the main villain and then you just put Catwoman as sort of an ally of Batman but also an enemy, that would have been great. That would have been perfect. I would have been I would have been fine. They should have done that. But adding all these villains and there's some potential that the Riddler could be added. I don't feel like you need to add all those villains. Just take it one step at a time. So this week I spoke with David Betancourt. He is a comic book culture reporter for the Washington Post. And we talked about all things superheroes, his job, and much more. So take a listen. How do you feel to have like the best and coolest job at the Washington Post? Do you like, walk into the office with your chest all out and stuff like that? Or are you sort of just low key about it?
I still think Tim Carmen, our food critic, has the best job because he just goes to places and they give him food.
No, that's pretty nice too.
Stuff his face and eat nonstop, and then write about how delicious it is. That to me is number one. So I'll give myself 1A or number 2. But no, it is a lot of fun. I spend a lot of my time here reading through the most recent comics from Marvel and DC and Image, Vertigo, whoever it may be, trying to find the next fun thing to write about, as well as, keeping track of the many entertainment adaptations that are out there right now, because it's really expanded from being, okay, well, we'll have a superhero movie in the summer. It's like a year-round thing now. You've got movies, Black Panther came out in February, Endgame came out in April, you've got Aquaman coming out in December. It's a year-round thing now, and then you've got the network television shows that come out in the fall, and the streaming shows, whether it be on Netflix or Hulu, whatever it may be. It's all over the place now. When you have to really have a lifelong love of comics to do what I do. It's not really for someone who's quote unquote not into it or looking to move on to something else. Oh, well, I'm just going to jump into the comics beat until I can be a political reporter. I mean, if you're doing what I do, you really have to have the passion for it, which I do. I've been reading comics, pretty much my whole life.
We had talked about Black Panther. We got the African American lead for the MCU. We've got a female lead in Brie Larson for the MCU. Now, if the Shang-Chi movie would introduce the first, Asian solo superhero movie and the first Asian lead for the MCU, and it has like an Asian director, Daniel Desson-Cretton. So, what do you think about the potential of this movie, especially since not a lot of people know Shang-Chi?
I think the potential is going to be limitless. Look at the success of Black Panther. Now, I think Black Panther is a little bit more higher up in terms of recognizability than Shang-Chi when you talk about comic book popularity and the fan bases. But the success of Black Panther has shown them that when you give communities who have not really been along for the ride in the way they want in terms of all the success of superheroes in Hollywood, magical things can happen. Now, you still have to have a great story. You have to have a director who can handle it. You have to cast correctly. But Shang-Chi could be phenomenal for Marvel Studios.
And now it's time for one of our favorite segments, Twitter Question of the Week. And this week's question is, with recent reports suggesting that Robert Pattinson will likely play Batman, which of these portrayals of the Caped Crusader has been the best? Alright, so the choices are Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, and Will Arnett, the Lego Batman. So who are you going with?
Lego Batman, funny.
That's very funny.
But you know what? I'm going to go with probably an unpopular one because I really loved this film as a child.
Okay.
George Clooney's Batman.
Wow.
Yeah, George Clooney's Batman for some reason stuck with me.
He's not even an option, and you're going with George Clooney.
I want George Clooney.
Okay.
George Clooney's Batman is one of my favorite. But since he's not on the list, I'll have to go with Christian Bale. Christian Bale did a great adaptation. I think he portrayed Batman's craziness and the way that he changed his voice when he switched from Bruce Wayne to Batman. Fear me! The raspiness. I like that.
For me, it just really does come down between Will Arnett's Lego Batman and Christian Bale's Batman. It's so tough because they're so different. Will Arnett's really brings in, the comedic factor and everything really makes fun of, Batman's insecurities.
Right.
And I think that's really, because nobody's really done that. I'm like, man, that's really original. Yeah. And the way that they portray him is really funny and it's really cool and unique. Christian Bale is sort of the very edgy version, and he actually does a good job portraying Bruce Wayne as well, so he can definitely go from, billionaire playboy to serious, menacing Batman on a dime. I I might give the edge. I think it's really, really close. I might give the edge to Christian Bale just because of how that Dark Knight trilogy did. Just because those 3 movies as a whole were great to me, and it seems like that's just when I think of Batman, he's the first one I think about. But Will Arnett's version is really, really good, really great.
You can make a case to say that Christian Bale's Batman, The Dark Knight, especially that movie with Heath Ledger, spearheaded a lot of these superhero movies today.
No, definitely, and I think in some minds it's like still the greatest superhero trilogy of all time. So let us know what you think. Go vote at @0CapesRequired. Also be sure to follow at FlyToTheSky11 for more content and updates. So we hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And always remember, until next time, to stay true to yourself. Because it's not who you are underneath, but what you do that defines you.
So